pointing the wrong way. So the idea was that I wanted to do a big drawing installation because I get a bit tired of art that's on a frame on the wall, very precious and you can't touch it and you're separated from everything. So I wanted to kind of create something similar to Renaissance era chapels. Some of these little side chapels are heavily frescoed, you're literally inside the work, which is pretty cool and immersive, and it's a different vibe. It is the warlike back wall with lots of humans dipping up the hill. And you've got this sort of ribbon which I've got running around the whole thing just to try and use it as a sort of compositional structure really to pull it all together. I wanted the predominant colour to be red, which is sort of the colour of dried blood. In terms of medium, I've been using wax crayons for quite a while. I really like using them because they are very saturated. And you can also work in layers with them. You can get really nice effects blending them and layering them. You can build up, say, with like a light orange, then you can go over the top with a dark orange. You can use wax resist, so you can put an ink wash over the top. They're portable, and I also like the fact that they're a kid's medium traditionally. They're not, complicated or pretentious in the way that some art things are. One of the sort of features of some frescoes is the way that they manipulate the natural light that's coming in through the windows to really quite remarkable effect sometimes. People that were best at drawing and painting figures in groups, in my view, were the Renaissance artists, particularly the fresco artists, because they really nailed down the composition in terms of colour as well. They were on top of their game. And I've just spent 6 weeks in Italy, largely doing transcription drawing, copying fresco. There was a chapel in Florence, Diao, heavily frescoed, beautiful, small, immersive experience. So I'm doing this off the back of that, basically. Got a thing for this painting by Bruegel, which is called The Suicide of Saul, and the Saul falls to the ground, and in the background there's hundreds and hundreds of soldiers going up the hill, which has always sort of fascinated me. Apart from anything, it must have taken such a long time to paint. So I was thinking of that as like humans on the move, images of war. I went to this palace in Mantua called the Palazzo Te, and they've got a room in there which is called the Room of the Giants. The whole thing is frescoed with fighting giants. It's really quite amazing. So I was thinking about that in terms of kind of immersive experience. So this is the finished wall behind me. The idea was to have a sort of tumult of figures. My plan was to have more upbeat section and then a more downbeat section. I was thinking about, without sounding too pretentious, the existential struggle. In other words, people doing peoply things, and the sort of fears and movements and kind of war and battle, which is further around the room. So this was the more upbeat section. These two walls have been the most difficult, this wall here and this wall here. Yeah, I've been putting in some quite long hours. It's quite physically demanding drawing on this scale. When the show's open, it will be illuminated by natural light, but in the opening evening I'm going to use a film light, so it will be very dim in here, like being in a sort of warm cave atmosphere.